So where do we want to start?
You know where we starting. We don't have to act different because Shams is here. Go ahead.
Are we giving the Lakers the top of the show again?
I thought he was going to start talking about the Knicks, but we can start on my Lakers. I think that was probably the best game they played all series.
All year.
Big win.
It really
That's
was.
a statement win.
It really was. I think there was some small adjustments that the Lakers did that really kind of just gave them that leverage. First of all, we start with just Anthony Davis. I think it's a lot of it is on his back because he's shown that he could dominate both ends on the floor when he's on the floor and healthy. He could dominate both ends, and he could really just shut down teams. Like he held that team to like 70 points, and they were going into the fourth quarter. You know, I think Desmond Bane, which was a big factor for Memphis, we were able to slow him down. He didn't have that type of impact. It was just the small things that the Lakers did that I feel like they should have been doing the whole time. You know, honestly, but they were able to pull it out. They got to look, to the next series against Golden State or Sacramento, but it was a huge win.
That Game 7 is going to be crazy on Sunday.
I cannot
Man,
wait.
I can't wait.
I was there at Game 1. I can only imagine how Game 7 is going to be.
I saw the ticket prices, and it's like, oh, yeah. It's like pricing the casual fan out for sure.
You anticipated going? You wanted to go? Was that why?
No,
you
I
went?
just always like to look at ticket prices. I'm stupid like that.
This game was frustrating, though, because this game shows just how good the Lakers can be versus some of the games where they played terrible, poor. So I think there's a big gap in terms of like their best and worst games. But it's just like when they're playing in their game, it's just like they can compete with anybody.
Yeah, I think when you look at them, it's like Anthony Davis really hogs that paint. He owns it. So it's like when he's healthy, it's like, is he probably one of the top rim protectors?
I mean,
Absolutely.
he could do
easily probably I think he's probably number one when you talk about like bigs defensively.
Giannis is a two-time DPOY, and Anthony Davis can do damn near everything he could do almost better when he's
on
healthy.
the floor with him. But
it's
when
just,
he's dominant, this Lakers, I mean, that's why they have a chance to win a championship. When Anthony Davis is dominant, but you see whenever there's an off night for AD, it's tough for the Lakers to win games. So when he's in that dominant mode, whether it's 25 points, double-digit rebounds, blocking shots all over the place, this team is totally different. We know what LeBron is. And then D'Angelo Russell last night. I'm sure
D'Angelo Russell was like a breath of fresh
he's
air.
had up and down series. I think in game 4 he had some clutch threes.
The 3-3, I think it was like 3 threes.
Yep.
But he had up and down series. But to come out, statement win, over 30 points, and then Austin Reaves. I mean, the offense just flows when he has the ball in his hands. And to think about how far he's come from last year to this year, I interviewed him. He's like, man, I was buying Russell Westbrook body wash in training camp, and he's like, I go places they don't even know I'm a basketball player. They think
that's crazy.
Now they know. I'm sure now they'll know.
Global.
And it was a point where I think D'Angelo Russell, they just traded, and D'Angelo Russell went down with like an ankle injury, and they had him run a lot of point guard, and I feel like he got real comfortable just handling the ball and running the offense, during that time. So it paid off.
And you could tell that LeBron trusts him a lot. LeBron trusts him so much, bro. LeBron gives him the ball down the stretch. He gives him the ball.
In game 1, he was literally like passing him the ball.
Yeah, he was literally just giving him the ball and watching.
I've never,
especially like with young players.
Yeah,
like young players typically don't fit well with LeBron because he has such a like the ball's in my hand. Like you're not gonna really get it much. So like young players really don't develop well with him. Austin Reaves has done amazing,
but Austin Reaves is also not a young player. He's a young in NBA years, but he's actually 25 years old, played through college. So I think he's more of the type of younger player that you would want next to LeBron James if you had to put a young player there. Somebody who's been through real basketball experience and not just some 19-year-old who barely played college basketball.
Smart, doesn't make mistakes.
Right.
Yeah. High IQ.
Now, what I want to ask you, in regards to the Lakers, how do you actually feel about the Lakers going forward in the playoffs? What's your stance on the Lakers as a whole? We know what they could be, what they should be, but how do you feel about the Lakers in the reality?
I think the reality is the NBA is wide open this year, and I can't remember the last time. Definitely not since I've been a fan. I'm sure you guys are all young too. It's like same way since we've been fans. Like when I started watching the NBA, it's like 3-4 teams have a chance to win a championship. Everyone else, it's probably a dream. Let's be honest. Now you go into this year. If you're the Knicks, you feel like you can get to the finals. If you're the Heat, you think you can get to the finals. Obviously Philly, we know about Boston going into these playoffs. Cleveland felt like they had a chance to get to the finals. Obviously Milwaukee felt like they had a chance to get to the finals, and maybe we'll talk about them at some point. But then you look out west. Every team that's standing right now in the Western Conference feels like they can get to the finals. So I can't remember the last time that's happened. So if AD if they're all healthy, if AD's dominant, LeBron is LeBron, and they don't have injuries. I think this team can definitely get to the finals. I don't see why they can't. But again, it's wide open.
Yeah, I like that the Lakers kind of took care of business early because with them going up 3-1, it felt like Game 5, LeBron was using that as a way to say, okay, we got 2 more. This is not a must win for us because in Game 5, it felt like LeBron wasn't really there.
Well, he said he played like shit. He said
Exactly.
it
He
himself,
did,
so.
yeah.
But it also
We don't have to say it. He said it.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
5 of 17 shooting 15 points. That's not LeBron.
it's not LeBron, and a lot of those were 3-point attempts. So, and then he came out in this game, and though he wasn't the LeBron of 2011, he was hella efficient when he was getting downhill. He was getting to the basket, and it felt like that was the moment where we're like, okay, we're gonna close this series right now because we definitely don't want to go back to Memphis because the travel alone for somebody of LeBron's age is like probably a lot. So I'm happy they got that series going, and I'm excited to see what second round looks like for them. Is it against the Golden State Warriors? Is it against the young Sacramento Kings who've been impressive?
It's kind of crazy that it still is in Cali.
Do you have the travel is going like the lack of travel compared to like going back to Memphis? Yeah, because Memphis basically on East. Yeah,
man, that's brutal.
As a Laker fan, which team would you prefer to see in a 7-game series next?
I can't believe you're thinking about it.
Really? I think it's tough either way.
You think it's Sacramento?
Gotta be Sacramento
because of the experience.
Yeah.
Yeah. Either way for both teams, I think that, for the big man at least, Anthony Davis has the advantage on both. Obviously, Sabonis has been an all-star this season, but he's just shown that too. He could do it on both ends of the court. He can make it tougher to Sabonis and also guard him as well. Same thing with Golden State. Kevin Looney's been a monster, but as you got to talk about like they've been struggling. Golden State just struggled on the glass against the Kings. That's them the reason why they lost the game because they just gave up so many possessions.
And there was no Sabonis practically.
Trey Lyles.
Shout out to Trey Lyles, man.
I would say the Warriors. I think Steph Curry he's the most dangerous person on the court.
Their plus and minus when Steph's on the floor and not on the floor is, that's alarming.
It's just Steph, Clay, and then everybody, Jordan Poole, he's been in a real slump. I don't know when he's going to turn around, if he's going to be able to turn around this playoffs. But it's just like I think the Kings from top to bottom, they're ready. I feel like Sacramento is just like there's some question marks because they're still trying to figure out themselves. I'd rather take them on while they're trying to do that.
The thing that scares me is that the on-off numbers. In a Game 7, if you Steve Kerr, you're probably playing.
He's playing the whole game.
Exactly. You're going to play the whole game.
Maybe rest him 1 minute every half.
Yeah. And that's what scares me if I'm the Kings. But the thing that I love the most about them is the fact that Sabonis has had a dreadful series for what we expected from All-NBA third-team caliber center. And it's okay. He had 5 fouls and 20 minutes yesterday. It's fine. Trey Lyles ended up fouling out. Terrence Davis off the bench, giving us quality minutes, something that the Warriors couldn't even prep for. He ain't played more than a couple minutes.
He hasn't played this whole series.
They was expecting Davion Mitchell.
Exactly. So I'm excited. I would like to see the Kings advance, but I've been very heavy rooting for the Kings all season. So I just want to see them win. And then we could get the rematch from the early 2000s where y'all cheated them out of a championship appearance. So we get that.
From that standpoint, I think every basketball fan is rooting for the Kings. The story, the feel, the fact that they would be that underdog young team taking down this older dynasty that, the basketball world has fallen in love with. But as far as really giving us a series, a storyline, and a battle, LeBron James and Anthony Davis and co against Steph, Clay, Dre, and co. I think that's different. We haven't seen LeBron and Steph
since the finals.
Yeah, so I think that would be something, and I think the Warriors will make the Lakers work. The Lakers, they give up leads, and when you're a team like the Warriors, who are as deadly as they are from 3, you're never out of a game. I think there's a lot of legacy stake in that, and I think they can expose certain things in each other a lot better because, like you said, Anthony Davis is going to be a handful for Kevon Looney. But I also think the intricacies of the Warriors' offense is going to be trouble for y'all because y'all don't like to communicate, don't like to get back on defense, and you depend on Anthony Davis to clean up everything. The
Desmond Bain games, he was running around screen. It's not like he was just cooking and step back, and he was we didn't communicate enough to go around double screens or pin down screens, but that's the type of stuff I'm worried about with Golden State when it comes to that. It's just like they do all the they're just play so when they're rolling, they play in such unity. It's just like, wow, how are we gonna stop? The Lakers have played really good defense, but it's hard to match that. I think that it's just it's I don't feel like the Warriors is going to be consistent as the Kings though, and that's why I'm kind of learning like I'd rather go against them. Yes, they can't get hot, but I've seen them just go cold, and I've seen them just have like bad possessions where they just don't look the same as the Warriors that they used to be.
I got a question for all of y'all. Hypothetically, the Warriors take care of business, they win. Who is the best player in that series?
Stephen Curry.
Steph Curry,
Okay.
Yeah,
without a doubt.
it's still Steph Curry.
Laker
Steph
fan good?
Curry.
Okay.
I was thinking you talking about.
I hate making picks because then they all hold it on me.
Yeah.
But I mean, yes, but like on any given night, AD to me is like the ultimate. Like he's a cheat code in terms of if he's scoring 30 plus points, 10 to 15 rebounds, 3 to 5 blocks. Like it's almost impossible to beat the Lakers just because you're going to get other efforts. So
That's another thing. I really like the fact that he's been rebounding this year.
Yes.
I feel like that's
Because why hasn't he ever been?
I don't know.
he's playing like he did in the bubble. I saw him in the bubble.
Yeah.
And he was
Okay.
dominant down there. Like the shots
was
he
like-
was hitting, how consistent he was. He was never getting hurt.
Yeah, it was reminiscent of like the finals against the Heat. I felt like the way he was just locked in. But I agree. When he's locked in, like two way, he and it's like his size he has and the way he can play is. I think that gives like it's very limited players that can dominate a game like on both ends, and he has the tools to do so.
Yeah, that's why me and you got into it a bunch of times because I had a little thing where I was saying us as basketball fans, we like the idea of Anthony Davis more than what Anthony Davis was giving us a couple years ago. And there was one point where Josh Hart was out rebounding Anthony Davis. And he was telling me that Josh Hart is supposed to do that.
Josh Hart out rebounds a lot of people.
That's a Nick.
Now
guy.
he's a Nick now.
Yeah.
So-
He out rebounds a lot of people. Honestly.